Sergeant-at-Arms could please secure the doors. Madam Clerk, if you could please call the roll.
Mr. President.
All right, this morning we have the members, if we could please take our seats. For the invocation, we have today Dr. Dwayne T. Kay of First Baptist Church, North Brentwood, Maryland, guest of the distinguished senator from District 47. Members, please rise for the invocation.
Let's bow. Almighty God, as we gather at this moment, we offer our thanks for the opportunity to serve. We are grateful to you for the citizens of this state who are represented in this room. Thank you for these public servants who have answered the call to promote the common good and welfare of those who reside within Maryland. As they prepare to go forth in this assignment, I pray for their direction and guidance. I pray for their wisdom and health. I pray for both mind and heart. As you are creator and sustainer, I ask that you strengthen these public servants for the task ahead. Bless the families of this state who continue to deal with the impact of a pandemic. I pray for those who mourn. Thank you for civic leadership and for the opportunity to impact lives for the better. We are grateful that we can participate in the journey toward a perfect union. Allow men and women in this session to march on, press on, and carry on this great work of improving state and society. We ask for thy grace and mercy to be evident in character, conduct, and conversation. We ask for your will to be done. Hear our prayer, O God. Hear our prayer. In the name of the one in whom we express our faith. Amen.
Amen. Chair recognizes Senator from the 47th District.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm absolutely so pleased that the Pastor Dwayne T. Kay of the great town of North Brentwood presented to us this prayer, and I ask that it be journalized. Thank you.
Without objection, the pastor's prayer will most certainly be journalized. Members, have we marked our presence in the chamber? Chair, Budget and Tax. Court. All right, thank you, sir. All right, if we have a couple folks who are joining us in just a moment. I'm trying to think if we should leave it open. No, we'll go ahead and close it, and we'll add them in when their tests come through. So, clerk will take the call. With 43 members in the chamber and a quorum being present, the Senate of Maryland is now in session. All right, Senators, we have a special bit of a presentation today. This will be a bit of a reminder of the past. We have we have a resolution, which is nothing extraordinary, except the outcome of why the resolution exists is pretty extraordinary. We are pleased today to be joined virtually by our presidents of the University of Maryland College Park, the president of University of Maryland Baltimore, and our chancellor of the University of Maryland System, for the purposes of a pretty incredible announcement that was made on Monday. If members think back to 2012, there was the start of the MPower program, which was a strategic alliance between College Park and University of Maryland Baltimore. In 2017, 17, I believe. Well, we'll ask Dr. Perman here. I believe it was 2017 when we passed a further strategic alignment that will allow these two institutions to be able to report to the National Science Foundation their joint research endeavors. After a lot of work, after what was a very controversial effort, we were able to get word this past weekend officially that University of Maryland, the combined research prowess of College Park and University of Maryland Baltimore, has now achieved combined research grant dollars over $1 billion. It makes us one of only 6 states in the country to have 2 research institutions that are bringing in over $1 billion worth of research. It puts the University of Maryland 14th in the country and 8th in the United States for public universities. So we had a huge jump in the rankings, which was exactly what we were hoping to have seen occur. It is showing kind of the power of collaboration. And I want to welcome the presidents and Dr. Perman for joining us today. And I believe the Chancellor will be giving us a few remarks, hopefully.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have the privilege of representing our University of Maryland leaders in these comments. President Darrell Pines of College Park, President Bruce Jarrell of Baltimore, and our Vice President for Research across both campuses, Dr. Lori Locascio. And as you can see, each of whom is here with me, but I also want to recognize former President Wallace Lowe of College Park, who was integral to the milestone we celebrate. This achievement, linking together the research enterprise of these two distinguished institutions, was made possible by President Ferguson, the bill's sponsor, by the Maryland General Assembly, and Governor Hogan in enacting the University of Maryland Strategic Partnership of 2016. But most of all, it was the vision of the late Senate President, Mike Miller, who brought us to this day. Mike exhorted us to convince federal agencies to recognize our joint research enterprise. I was able some months ago to share with Mike that we had achieved his vision, although we were embargoed from announcing it until this week. Mike's reaction, praise the Lord. This latest ranking in research expenditures, which is a measure of our combined ability to attract external funding for our work, has earned us the rankings that you heard President Ferguson relate to you. Are we proud? Absolutely. Proud of our faculty, staff, students, of course. But this is about much more than a beauty contest, much more than bragging rights. These dollars we attract provide meaningful salary to our people. They make jobs. They attract the very kind of distinguished scientists and scholars who want to be a part of us and who in turn grow our prowess further. These dollars enhance our university research infrastructure. They attract business and industry that wish to be near us and interact with our powerful research engines. Honorable senators, this is the power of partnership across the university system of Maryland. For your unfailing support, which makes achievements like this possible, and for this recognition today, thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Perman. The clerk will read the resolution in full.
Be it hereby known to all that the Senate of Maryland offers its sincerest congratulations to the University System of Maryland, the University of Maryland College Park, University of Maryland Baltimore, in recognition of being in the top 2% of all research universities in the country and for being one of only 10 statewide public universities conducting research at or above $1 billion per year due to their growing strategic partnership. The entire membership extends its best wishes on this memorable occasion and directs this resolution be presented on this, the third day of February 2021.
The clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
has everyone recorded their vote? If so, the clerk will take the call. The Senate of Maryland unanimously and enthusiastically recognizes the universities of Maryland at College Park, the University of Maryland, Baltimore, and the entire University of Maryland system for now having a top 2% research university with over $1 billion of sponsored research per year. This is a remarkable accomplishment. Congratulations. Chair recognizes the senator from District 10.
While the honchos from the University of Maryland are here, I think it would be nice if all alumni from the University of Maryland system, if all alumni from the University of Maryland system, as I am one, could stand.
Any of the system universities? That's a good question.
Any of the institutions of
How
the
many members,
University of Maryland
alumni
system.
from any university system? We got a lot. Excellent, excellent. Thank you,
PhD 77.
Senator. Wonderful. All right. Well, thank you, Senator. Thank you all. We're so glad that you could be here virtually with us and to celebrate this great announcement. So, Senators, the follow-up to this announcement is that we have sent out a memo to each of your offices. While we certainly cannot have people come to the Senate floor, there is a very important role that the Senate plays in recognizing some of the state's most important residents and actors who are doing remarkable things. And so we have put forward a memo that permits each senator to have 3 opportunities this session. 2 will be just resolutions that are presented on the floor, our traditional resolution, without any guests. But each senator will have the opportunity to have one group be live here, not necessarily speak, but to be live to see the resolution be presented. So as we think through these next 68 days, and you think about all of the extraordinary things that have happened over these last 68 days, if there are members of your community or causes worthy of celebration, please know that the Secretary's office is ready to start putting that together. And as you saw today, we have now figured out a back-end way to make a live view of the floor in real time, so we think we can make it work. So keep that in mind as you move forward. All right, so that's our start of the day. Let's see, do we have any other announcements? Other announcements? Only other administrative announcement is that the State of the State will occur today at 7 p.m. The governor will be doing a live speech tonight at 7 p.m. broadcast on MPT, and then I imagine it will also be on all the social media channels as well. But that's 7 p.m. this evening. All right, if there are no further announcements, let's go ahead and waive the reading of the journal from the prior legislative day. We will start with some bill introductions. We're getting close. I think we have just gotten over 700 after today. We're going to get to 720. So we've got about 5-6 days left until the hopper closes. So remember, senators, please get those last bill drafts in. The clerk will read the first calendar of bills.
Senate Bill 659, Senator Gazzoni, Historic Revitalizations, Tax Credits, Small Commercial Projects, Alterations, B&T.
Majority Leader moves so be considered the reading of the bills. Next, we have the Senate bond initiatives that are coming in. This is calendar number 5. Clerk will read the bond initiatives.
Introductory Senate bond initiatives number 5. Senator Peters, Boys and Girls Club, Sports Park. Senator Peters, Maryland Intergenerational Family Life Center. Senator Jennings, Born to Be More Boys and Girls Club. Senator Reedy, Hampstead Volunteer Fire Company Security System. Senator Kramer, Wheaton
Majority
Regional
Leader
Park.
moves so be considered the reading of the legislative bond initiatives. All right, let's go ahead and start with our laid-over bills from the prior legislative day. Let's go to layover bill calendar number 1, the first one that we have. Clerk will read the first bill.
Senate Bill 496, the President, Recovery for the Economy, Livelihoods, Industries, Entrepreneurs, and Families Relief Act. This is an emergency bill.
All right, the question on the bill right now is the adoption of the committee amendments. Chair recognizes the chair of the Budget and Taxation Committee.
Yeah, simply move the committee amendments, and then I'll have a series of amendments after.
All right, question is on the amendments. Any discussion on the amendments from the committee? Chair recognizes the minority leader.
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to thank the senator from District 13. We got to speak over the weekend, and Mr. President, it is a challenge with the amendments when we don't get to see them until they're scanned across on second reader. So I know with other legislation, the committee testimony as well. So hopefully we'll have time, or we could special order things when things don't come up quickly like that. And I understood we laid this one over for that purpose, and I appreciate that. But I just wanted to clarify with the body what I heard, because I had the press release basically of what the amendment did. And from what I understand is that the criteria is not so much in the legislation, but it's left up to the departments, and there's a lot of programs that the governor has already put in place, and this will supplement them. So I do appreciate the clarification for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. All right, questions on the amendments? On the amendments? If there's no further discussion on the amendments, all in favor of the amendment say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The amendments are adopted. The question now is on the adoption of the favorable committee report as amended. Any discussion? If not, all in favor of the report say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The favorable committee report as amended is adopted. The chairman has a series of amendments.
I do, thank you.
All right, this is our first amendment for the season. So this will be a different process. Does the senator want to read off the number of the amendment?
Thank you, Mr. President. First off, let me thank the minority leader, as well as a number of other members who reached out over the weekend and the beginning of the week. This is a series of 11 amendments that all, in my opinion, mostly clarify.
Senator, I hate to interrupt you. Could the senator read the amendment number?
Sure.
This is our new process so that we can make sure that it gets scanned into the computer so it's on the...
Yes. 519631-1.
All right, Madam Clerk, do we have that amendment? All right, Senator may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President. So this is a series of 11 amendments which I think help clarify, and again, I appreciate everybody who participated over the weekend with me in discussions. So Amendment 1 adds sponsors. Amendment number 2 divides the TEDCO appropriation between DHCD Office of the Secretary, $5 million, Marbidco, $3.5 million, and TEDCO, $1.5 million. This is just to clarify the $10 million that was dedicated to the rural community. And the one new piece of this, after evaluation, I want to thank the senator from Cambridge who helped with this, that from a business development perspective and from an overall perspective need in the community, I think determined that we should put some broadband funding in, but only to the degree that that broadband was immediately accessible in terms of ready to go in the ground to get moving on it. So that's what that amendment does. Amendment number 3 clarifies that the grants for businesses are up to the stated amount and not required to be equal to the stated amount. Amendment number 4 expands the restaurant grant program to include caterers and bars. Amendment number 5 alters the grant program for entertainment venues. The amendment instructs DHCD to prioritize venues or promoters that closed because of capacity limits and did not receive enough prior stimulus funds due to the size of the venue to cover fixed costs of the venue. Amendment number 6 is essentially the companion to Amendment 2, which I described earlier. Amendment number 7 strikes the requirement that certain business grants go to businesses in distressed communities. And just to explain that, distressed communities actually has a meaning in the law right now. What we're really trying to do is to get to distressed businesses throughout the state, not simply in those designated by with the distressed community designation. Amendment 8 restructures the $1,000 grant program for individuals whose unemployment benefits have been delayed. The restructuring more accurately reflects the unemployment benefit process. In addition, the Comptroller's Office, instead of the Secretary of Labor, will administer the distribution of the money. This is the one that the Minority Leader and I had extensive conversations on, as well as the Secretary of Labor, and after clarifying a lot of complicated rules with the federal government, this we believe is the best that we could come up with. Amendment number 9 alters a grant designed to increase work share participation. The amendment requires that the Department of Labor to use money to contract with marketing and communication firm to implement a work-sharing marketing campaign. Amendment number 10 restructures the use of funds from the Blueprint Fund. The amendment makes clear which schools are eligible for the money. So this was sort of this was just a correction because of, we just missed something along the way. We had forgotten the School for the Blind, School for the Deaf, and a few others, so this makes that correction. And the final, number 11, alters the General Assembly's statement of intent to the extent practicable that grants authorized by the amendments are to be distributed proportionally by population across the state. In addition, if federal funds become available for any purpose authorized by the amendments, the federal funds should be used and not the funds authorized. Move the amendment.
The chairman moves the amendment. Chair recognizes the senator from District 34. What purpose does Senator Rise?
Yeah, Mr. President, I'm just curious at what point these amendments will actually go in the system so that the members can review them. I know we're not handing anything out these days, but
Senator,
as I call up the bill, is there some place that...
So, yes, Senator, when the senator, this is a good question, thank you for asking. When the senator read the number, that allowed the Secretary of the Senate to scan in the actual amendment, the barcode. That unlocks it from the floor system. So it will not be available to see until it is read, the number is read, it is scanned, and that unlocks the system. So
would it appear under the, if I call up the bill, it would appear under amendments?
On the red bar at the very top,
Oh.
it should say amendment number, and if you...
Gotcha. Thank you very...
You have it?
Yeah, got
Senator
it.
has it.
Thank you very
Wonderful.
much. Appreciate
Okay,
it.
thank you, Senator. All right, Chair recognizes the senator from District 17.
Thank you, Mr. President. I am in the amendment. I have a question for the floor leader.
Will the
and
floor leader
chairman.
yield to a question?
Sure.
Senator may proceed.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Amendment number 8 on the unemployment, the $1,000 for those who've had their unemployment claims pending. We all know that we have lots and lots of constituents whose unemployment claims have been pending. It looks like this is going to be done by the Comptroller's Office with collaboration from the Department of Labor. How is it that we have the opportunity to verify the accuracy and completeness of the list? Because one of the challenges is that our people are being ignored and we are pounding trying to get them their claims. So how can we be sure that all of our constituents are going to be eligible for this?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question. So the way the process will work is because of federal regulations, our Department of Labor cannot actually participate in the distribution of state funds. Only can't distribute state funds. So that's why we brought the comptroller in on this, and that's why that's set up in that way. The Department of Labor still is going to be providing the list, and we're going to have to rely on the accuracy of that list. Now, we've created a system to ensure that every month a new list is produced. And so to the degree that you clearly see errors because of work that your staff is doing, you and your staff are doing, I don't see why we couldn't raise those questions with the department along the way.
I'm a little worried about whether there's going to be sufficient transparency and willingness to share. I think we have seen evidence since last March or April that they are overwhelmed, that their third new system is still not providing satisfaction and delivery of the goods, of well-deserved benefits to our constituents. I just had a story I tweeted out yesterday, which is a constituent needed help with unemployment in D.C., and my staff called the D.C. Office of Unemployment, and that afternoon, that person's case was resolved. We still have people who are pending since last April, and I don't know that I have confidence that we're going to make sure that all of our people are addressed.
So the best I can say is this. We've got 4 months with this money. This money is 21 money, so it just goes to the end of the year. The desire is to get it out as quickly as possible. Now, I worked with the minority leader to clarify some of the language to ensure that any cases that were flagged as possible fraud would not be included in this. That being said, the remainder and the development of those lists is really in the hands of the Department of Labor. To the degree that we could, in an ideal world, if we had some sort of independent auditing and all, theoretically possible, but I think it's something that I think we're just going to have to, for these 4 months in particular, for this money, recognize that they're going to be producing the list. And those lists are based on cases that are involved with adjudication between the employer, an employer and an employee. So there are known quantities. Having talked to the secretary, I believe that they're going to do their very best to generate that list and get it over to the comptroller.
So thank you, and I know that you do due diligence. One comment and then one more question, Mr. Chairman. The comment is, I wonder if we could ask the department to share their database and also aggregate it by or determine which legislative districts, so we can make sure that we can compare them against our own data to make sure that no one falls through the cracks. So that's one comment, if that's possible. And then, sorry, if you want to answer
I was just going to say, we can check to see if that's possible and legal.
Okay, all right. And then the second thing is, I just wonder whether the Budget and Taxation Committee gave any thought to the idea of having a differentiation between the $1,000 grant, which I think is fabulous and will be deeply appreciated, but those who have been waiting since March or April, and those who might have just been waiting since October or November. Was there any conversation about different levels of grants?
There really wasn't. We tried to create as simple a process as possible to get money out the door to people as quickly as possible.
Okay. Thank you for your work and thank you for your answers, Mr. Chairman.
Question remains on the amendment. Any further questions on the amendment? Discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, questions on the amendment. All in favor of the amendment, say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The amendment is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill or its title? Any further amendments? Seeing none, Senate Bill 496 is hereby ordered printed for third reader. Onwards to Friday. Okay, we have another layover bill. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 348, Chair, Education, Health, and Environmental Affairs Committee, State Government, Information Technology, Cybersecurity.
Chair recognizes the Chair of the committee.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, members of the Senate, we sent this bill to the floor last week, and since then we've realized that we have a number of cybersecurity bills. And we want to make sure they work together and they don't overlap, and we have a clear path forward. We have at least 3 other bills. So we'd rather look at them in a holistic view, Mr. President. So I'm going to move that we re-refer Senate Bill 348 back to committee for review, and we can look at it in concert with the other piece of legislation.
The chairman's moved to re-refer the bill back to committee. Are there any objections? Are there any objections to the senator's motion? Seeing no objections, without objection, so ordered. All right, let's take up we have one bill from the report, a report from the Committee on Budget and Taxation. This is report number 2. Clerk will read the bill.
Senate Bill 1, Senator Signor, Historically Black Colleges and Universities Funding. Favorable with 2 amendments. This is an emergency bill.
Chair recognizes the President Pro Tem as the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. And colleagues, I hope you'll just indulge me for a moment, because for me, I'd like to reflect on this historic moment. To stand in this chamber during Black History Month, while still cherishing a celebration that many of us shared as the first historically Black college and university graduate was sworn into the position of Vice President of the United States. The significance of that moment is not lost on us. Over the past few weeks, I've been reflecting on the work of so many to ensure an equitable environment for our HBCUs to operate in. and our efforts to right previous wrongs. I thought about the work of former Appropriations Chair Pete Rollins and former Delegate Rudy Kane and Delegate Jim Proctor. I thought about former Senator Joan Carter Conway, our current Chair of Finance, my seatmate, the Chair of the Prince George's Delegation, the members of the Legislative Black Caucus, many students, alumni, the Speaker, the President, the sponsors, and every member of this chamber who participated in a bipartisan vote last year to unanimously adopt a bill on a similar subject. And I also reflected on the fact that this year, both the Budget and Tax Committee and EHE unanimously adopted Senate Bill 1 with its amendments. So now I'll do what I was asked to do, which is present the floor report on Senate Bill 1. Senate Bill 1 is an emergency bill that provides an additional $577 million in total for Maryland's historically black colleges and universities from fiscal year 2023 through 2032. The funding is contingent upon a final settlement of the coalition's case by June 1st, 2021, and it establishes a minimum funding level of $9 million for the institutions. It creates a special fund to hold unused funds at the end of each fiscal year. It establishes a new academic program evaluation unit, and you all may remember that is a part of the challenges that led to this long-standing case. It also requires a study of delivering online courses, academic program review, economic competitiveness, and workforce development. There are two amendments to Senate Bill 1. The first adds sponsors and makes technical changes to the purpose and function paragraphs. And the second adds a provision that would provide special funds to make a portion of the payments to HBCUs rather than general funds if the state receives additional payments from the Cigarette Restitution Fund litigation. With that, Mr. President, I move the adoption of the amendments and the favorable committee report.
The floor leader moves to the adoption of the two committee amendments and the favorable committee report. Question first is on the amendments. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the amendment say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The amendments are adopted. Question now is on the favorable committee report as amended. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the report say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The favorable committee report as amended is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 1 is hereby ordered printed for third reader. All right. Well said, Madam President Pro Tem. And on to the next. We have a report from the Committee on Finance. Clerk will read the first bill.
Senate Bill 12, Senator Heddleman, Maryland Office of the Inspector General for Health, favorable.
Chair recognizes the Vice Chair of the committee as the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senate Bill 12 renames and relocates the former Office of the Inspector General in the Maryland Department of Health to be now known as the Maryland Office of the Inspector General for Health, and it establishes it as an independent unit. The bill sets required criteria for the Inspector General's appointment, terms and qualifications, funding, and staff from the current structure, and transfers it to the new office, and an annual report is required under the bill. Rather than the Secretary of Health appointing the Inspector General with the advice and consent of the Senate, the Governor, the Attorney General, and the State Treasurer must unanimously appoint the Inspector General for a 5-year term. All existing powers of the Inspector General are unchanged. The same bill, Mr. President, was on third reader last session, but we ran out of time. There were no amendments to the bill. I'll move adoption of the favorable committee report. It was a unanimous vote in the committee, by the way.
Floor leader moves to the adoption of the favorable committee report. Any discussion? If not, all in favor of the report say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The favorable committee report is adopted. Are there any amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 12 is hereby ordered printed for third reader. Clerk, read the next bill.
Senate Bill 65, Senator Kelly, Electricity, Renewable Energy, Portfolio Standard, Qualifying Biomass, favorable with one amendment.
Chair recognizes the Vice Chair as the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. As amended, Senate Bill 65 specifies that qualifying biomass under the Renewable Energy Portfolio Standard does not include black liquor or any product derived from black liquor. and therefore excludes black liquor from the eligibility for inclusion in the RPS standard as a Tier 1 resource. Other eligible sources of qualifying biomass are unchanged. A presently existing obligation or contract right may not be impaired in any way by the bill, which applies to all RPS compliance years beginning January 1, 2022 or later. The bill also makes a technical correction. We do have one amendment. It alters the definition of qualifying biomass to specifically exclude black liquor and maintains mill residue as under current law. And that amendment, I should note, is consistent with the definition contained in the Clean Energy Renewable Standards legislation that the governor put in just last session. The bill as it came in was a bit broad, and this tightens it up a little bit. And so, again, in a nutshell, there's no fiscal impact, and I would move the amendment and the adoption of the favorable committee report.
All right, the floor leaders move for the adoption of the one committee amendment and the favorable committee report. Question is on the amendment. We're going to go to the majority leader, and then we'll go to the senator from District 4. Chair recognizes the majority leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to lay this bill over until Friday.
All right, the majority leaders move to lay the bill over under the rule. So ordered. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 111, Senator Kramer, Healthcare Facilities, Dialysis Treatment Services, Training, David Selby, Dialysis Parity Act. Favorable with 2 amendments.
Chair recognizes Senator from Montgomery County as the floor leader.
Thank you for that, Mr. President. Colleagues, this is just a common sense bill that requires that if a health care facility is going to provide peritoneal dialysis or hemodialysis treatment services, the individual performing the service actually has to be trained in how to do it. Shockingly enough, that standard's not in place at the moment. There are 2 technical amendments. There's no fiscal impact. There was no opposition at the committee hearing. I will also refresh the Chamber's recollection that this exact same bill passed unanimously off this floor last year and ran out of time across the street. Mr. President, I move the amendments and the adoption of the favorable committee report.
Senator moves for the floor leader moves for the adoption of the 2 committee amendments and the favorable committee report. Question first is on the amendments. Any discussion? If not, all in favor of the amendment say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The amendments are adopted. Question now is on the favorable committee report is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 111 is hereby ordered printed for third reader. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 120, Chair Finance Committee, Insurance Credit for Reinsurance Model Law Revisions. Favorable.
Chair recognizes Chair of the committee as the floor leader.
Thank you. Senate Bill 120, a departmental bill, adopts into Maryland law revisions to the National Association of Insurance Commissioners, NAIC, credit for reinsurance model law. The bill provides the authority for the Maryland Insurance Administration to adopt the NAIC term and universal life insurance reserve financing model regulation, which is an accreditation requirement by the NAIC for the state's continued accredited status. This regulation establishes uniform national standards governing reserve financing arrangements pertaining to term and universal life insurance policies with secondary guarantees. These standards are components of an accreditation program designed to establish baseline standards of solvency regulation, particularly with respect to regulation of multi-state insurers. There are no amendments, no fiscal impact, no opposition at the committee hearing. I move the adoption of the favorable committee report.
Floor leader moves to the adoption of the favorable committee report. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the report say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The favorable committee report is adopted. Are there any amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 120 is hereby ordered printed for third reader. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 164, Senator Simonera, Veterans, Behavioral Health Services, Mental Health, First Aid. Favorable.
Chair recognizes the senator from the 7th District as the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, mental health for our veterans is a major issue that we all take serious, and our Department of Health works closely with the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, making sure that we can provide mental health services. Many of the issues that we find can be fixed if we knew ahead of time what to look for. What this bill does is it establishes a mental health first aid that's taught to both the veterans and their immediate family members of what to look for with regards to mental health and signs of substance abuse. This bill requires that the department take that information, report back to both the state through the governor and the legislature how many veterans took this first aid as well as their family members. There was no opposition. There was actually 12 people who testified in favor of this bill. The bill passed this floor last year unanimously. So I request the bill and pass unanimous again this year.
Floor leader moves the adoption of the favorable committee report. Any discussion? If not, all in favor of the report say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The favorable committee report is adopted. Are there any amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 164 is hereby ordered printed for third reader. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 219, Financial Institutions, Commissioner of Financial Regulation, Money Transmissions, Chair of Finance Committee, favorable.
Chair recognizes the chair of the committee as the floor leader.
Thank you. Senate Bill 219, a departmental bill, expands the Maryland Money Transmission Act by, among other things, updating the definition of money transmission to clarify that certain forms of value, such as cryptocurrencies and prepaid access systems cards, are items of monetary worth, subject to regulation. The bill incorporates applicable federal terms to align state law with federal law, updates the reporting requirements for money transmitters, and requires the use of the nationwide multi-state licensing system and registry. The bill also reduces certain fees associated with the establishment of ancillary branches of money transmission kiosks. A similar bill passed the Senate unanimously last year. There are no amendments, no opposition at the committee hearing. I move the adoption of the favorable committee report.
Floor leader moves for the adoption of the favorable committee report. Any discussion? If not, all in favor of the report say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The favorable committee report is adopted. Are there any amendments to the bill or its title? Yes, Chair recognizes the Vice Chair of Budget and Tax.
Yeah, I was slow on the button. My apologies. I just wanted to thank the committee for this work. This bill came out of recommendations from the Maryland Consumer Financial Protection Commission that a number of members of this body served on, the senator from my colleague from Prince George's County and others. And as we've seen just watching the newspapers recently, what's going on with cryptocurrencies is a little scary. And so it's very important that we update our law this way. And the Commissioner of Financial Regulation has pushed it. The Finance Committee has pushed it. I just want to thank the committee for moving this forward. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator. And it was a good reminder, Senators, just if the chair is moving too quickly, please don't hesitate to stand up and say, Mr. President, to make sure that the chair's attention is there, because it is difficult to see. All right. Let's see. No amendments. If there are no amendments, Senate Bill 219 is hereby ordered printed for third reader. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 256, Chair Finance Committee, Arts and Entertainment District, Artistic Work in Arts and Entertainment Enterprise definitions, favorable with one amendment.
Chair recognizes the chair of the committee as the floor leader.
Thank you. Senate Bill 256, a departmental bill, alters the definitions of artistic works and arts and entertainment enterprise. For purposes of the State Arts and Entertainment District program and its related tax incentives, the changes update the terminology used to define artistic work and clarify the activities of an arts and entertainment enterprise. The bill applies to all taxable years beginning after December 31, 2020. Amendment 1 adds sponsors. There is no fiscal impact, no opposition at the committee hearing. I move the amendments and the adoption of the favorable committee report.
Floor leader moves for the adoption of one committee amendment and the favorable committee report. Question first is on the amendment. Any discussion? If not, all in favor of the amendment say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The amendment is adopted. Question now is on the favorable committee report as amended. Any discussion? If not, all in favor of the report say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The favorable committee report as amended is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 256 is hereby ordered printed for third reader. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 282, Senator Lamb, Public Health Prohibition on Testing Cosmetics on Animals Favorable.
Chair recognizes the Senator from Montgomery County as the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, this humane legislation will prohibit the use of testing on animals by cosmetic companies operating in the state. It will also prohibit the sale of cosmetics into the state by manufacturers that do use animal testing as part of their procedure. I will remind again the floor that we passed this bill unanimously last year. It ran out of time. There are no amendments. There's no fiscal impact. It passed the committee unanimously yet again, and I move the adoption of the favorable committee report.
Floor leader moves for the adoption of the favorable committee report. Any discussion? If not, all in favor of the report say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The favorable committee report is adopted. Are there any amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 282 is hereby ordered printed for third reader. All right, next up we have a report from the Committee of Executive Nominations. The clerk will read the report.
Executive Nominations Committee Report Number 1. The Senate Executive Nominations Committee reports favorably on gubernatorial appointments and recommends that the Senate of Maryland advise and consent to these appointments.
Chair recognizes the Chair of the Executive Nominations Committee.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the Senate accept report number 1 of the Senate Economic report, and that we special order the report until Friday, February 5th.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The chairman has moved to special order the report and to be heard in open session until the appropriate time on Friday. Members, normally we would get this on Thursday, but of course, with this altered schedule, we're here on Wednesday. The other note, especially for new members of the Senate, in the tradition of executive nominations is that it was all done in executive session. So if you go back in time, the Senate's role, because it was generally a personnel discussing somebody's fitness or character or ethics to serve in the capacity on behalf of Marylanders. So under the rules, executive nominations are to be held in executive session. But as has become the more recent tradition, we waive that rule in order to hear to approve and have discussion publicly and in the open. So with that, if there are no objections to the special order, we will, without objection, so ordered executive nominations report will be special ordered to the appropriate time on Friday. All right, let's do a quorum call before third reader calendar.
Mr. President.
Has everyone recorded their presence in the chamber? The clerk will take the call. With 47 members in the chamber, the Senate of Maryland remains in session. These are third reading bills. Calendar number 4. Clerk will read the first bill.
Senate Bill 43, Senator Ellsworth, Criminal Law Enforcement Officers, Prohibition on Sexual Activity.
Senate Bill 43 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 46 votes in favor, Senate Bill 3, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 116, Senator Kagan, Department of the Environment, Office of Recycling, Recycling Market Development.
Senate Bill 116 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 46 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 116, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 159, Senator Wallstreicher, Local Government, Humane Society, and Animal Control Officers, Education and Training Requirements.
Senate Bill 159 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote? Explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 47 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 159, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 200, Senator Young, Natural Resources Organized Killing Contest Restriction.
Senate Bill 200 is on third reader for final passage. Chair recognizes the senator from the 29th District.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would request that this bill be special ordered. I have been in discussion with the sponsor of the bill and the floor leader regarding this.
Thank you, Senator. The Senator's moved to special order the bill. The floor leader, any response on the floor leader? Chair recognizes the senator from Anne Arundel.
Yeah, the committee has no objections.
No objections. Without objections, the bill will be special ordered to the appropriate time on Friday. All right, the clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 208, Senator Huff, Vehicle Laws, Manufacturers and Dealers Prices Listed on Dealer Websites.
Senate Bill 208 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote? Explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 42 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 208, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 304, Senator Pinsky, Maryland Recycling Act, Recyclable Materials and Resource Recovery Facilities Alterations.
Senate Bill 304 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote? Explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 47 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 304, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 344, Chair, Education, Health, and Environmental Affairs Committee, Agriculture Cost Sharing Program, State Cost Sharing Funds.
Senate Bill 344 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote? Explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 46 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 344, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 345, Chair, Education, Health, and Environmental Affairs Committee, State Government Information Technology, Review of Projects and Proposals.
Senate Bill 345 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote? Explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. All right, with 47 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 345, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
SJ4, Senator Gazzoni, Natural Resources, Fishing, Wildlife, Caught Blue Catfish.
Senate Joint Resolution number 4 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote? Explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 47 votes in the affirmative, Senate Joint Resolution number 4, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. All right, Senators, the desk is clear for the
Mr.
day.
President.
Yes, Chair recognizes Senator from the 29th District.
Thank you, Mr. President. I was having some problems with my button, and I would just like to make sure that our Senate Bill 43 was in the green.
In the green. Senator would like to add his vote to Senate Bill 43. Any objections? Without objection, so ordered. Any other vote recalculations here? Seeing none. All right, announcements. Chair recognizes the Chair of Finance Committee.
Thank you, Mr. President. Today, we are having bill hearings at 1 p.m., followed by voting about approximately 30 minutes after the end of the bill hearings. Tomorrow, we have bill hearings at 1 p.m., and we will also vote for the limited time available starting at 11 a.m. on Friday.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Chair recognizes the Chair of Education, Health, and Environmental Affairs.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the Senate. Like the Finance Committee, We have hearings at 1 o'clock today, followed 30 minutes after the end of hearings, a voting session. Tomorrow we'll be meeting 11 a.m. to start bill hearings, then take a break from 12:30 to 1:30 and resume hearings. And it's likely we'll have a voting session on Friday.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chair recognizes Chair of Budget and Taxation Committee.
Thank you, Mr. President. Budget and Tax will meet today at 1 for hearings, and then tomorrow all three operating budget subcommittees will have hearings at 1:30.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chair recognizes Chair of Judicial Proceedings Committee.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Judicial Proceedings Committee will have bill hearings today at 1 o'clock, and then tomorrow we'll have hearings at 11.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chair recognizes the senator from the 8th District.
Baltimore County.
Baltimore County delegation. Chair of the
I
Baltimore
just
County.
want to remind all of Baltimore County delegation, we will be meeting 8:30 on Friday morning. Thank you.
Chair recognizes the Chair of the Rules Committee. Rules Committee.
Just want to remind the members of the Rules Committee that we will be meeting at 10 o'clock on Friday. Also, tonight at 6 o'clock, the Prince George's County senators will be having their meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Chair recognizes the senator from the 30th District, Chair of the Anne Arundel delegation.
Yes, Mr. President, thank you. The Anne Arundel delegation will be meeting at 10:30 on Friday for an informal working session on a number of issues. Everybody should have the Zoom link in their emails. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator. Any further announcements? Chair recognizes the co-chair of the Protocol Committee.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Ladies and gentlemen, we have several announcements today. First of all, permission to use the senator's name.
Senator may proceed.
Tomorrow, February 4th, is one of our very special senators, Senator Feldman's birthday. So let's give him a big round of applause. And also, just wanted to give a shout out to our pages who are out there with us. We out there in virtual land, there are 21 of them who are working together with the Senate and the House. We will not be announcing their names today, but just wanted to give them a shout out, a round of applause. These are some of our very brightest and best, and we are so glad that they're able to share with us in this very unique time and wonderful opportunity. So let's give them a shout out, and now with your applause, and then we will share with you their names on Friday. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. And thank you to the pages who are watching us from afar. We really, really appreciate you and hope that you have an enjoyable experience, although it'll be quite a bit different. Chair recognizes the senator from 43rd District.
Thank you, Mr. President. Although I won't recognize his name, I will say that my son is among the pages this week. And I wanted to make sure I give him a shout out. We'll say your name on Friday, but you know your name. It's good to see you. And please give a warm Senate welcome to my son, the unnamed page.
We get some direct feedback, too, about how the program's going this year. It's excellent. All right. Any further announcements for the good of the order? Just want to quickly do a check on the sound. How were we today? Did better? Okay, great. I do want to thank OIS. They have, you can see, installed over the weekend, installed some speakers pointing downwards, and they're trying to make sure that didn't have a feedback loop with the echoes. So I think we're in a pretty decent spot with the new additions. Chair recognizes the senator from the 10th District. Senator, the button.
Oh, yeah, okay. Just want to let you know that my floor phone isn't working. It's full of static. So
Floor
somebody
phone.
could take a look at it.
We're on it. Thank you, Senator. Chair recognizes senator from the 34th District.
Thank you, Mr. President. I do appreciate your cooperation, the staff's assistance. The volume is much improved. Thank you very much.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, it's essential.
And I would also add that President Miller would have been very happy to hear your explanation of the vote earlier.
Well, fair enough, fair enough. Old habits die hard, right? Excellent. All right. If there's nothing further, let's do a quorum call before adjournment.
Mr. President?
Has everyone recorded their presence? If so, the clerk will take the majority leader's present. Clerk will take the call. With 47 members in the chamber and a quorum being present, the Senate of Maryland remains in session. The chair recognizes the majority leader.
Okay, thank you, Mr. President. I move that the Senate of Maryland stand adjourned until Friday, February 5th at 12 p.m.
Without objection, so ordered. Stay safe, wear your mask, get the vaccine.